I like trees. I've got videos about trees. Hell, I've got videos about bushes. Despite my prior vocation flying attack helicopters, I actually have a degree in landscaping, believe it or not. So when I hear about some interesting trees or bushes, you know I'm going to go out of my way to try and find them. Here in Britain, though, there's honestly not a lot of trees. Definitely not a lot of forests. The island is mostly farmland, and it has been for centuries. But here, at Wistman Woods, is a small patch of vegetation that has survived for hundreds and maybe even thousands of years untouched. It's like every fantasy movie where everyone speaks with British accents has come to life. Gnarled, twisted oaks shade boulders covered with lichen and moss. Wistman Wood is situated at an altitude ranging from about 380 to 410 meters, or 1,250 to 1,350 feet above sea level. This isn't exactly a mountain range, but it is still high enough elevation to contribute to the harsh growing conditions that have shaped the wood's unique character over the centuries. Exposure to strong winds, poor soil conditions, and extreme weather have resulted in trees that are much smaller and more gnarled than their lowland counterparts. In the realm of old plants, these 500-year-old oaks honestly aren't setting any records. But when you consider that every inch of Britain has been utilized for farming or pasture, these 9 acres are a bit of an oddity. In fact, there's only 3 remaining high-altitude oak woods in the country. The other 2 are pretty close by, as you might expect, which I think is the true reason behind the mystery of these copses, as they're called. How and why did they survive? There's an air of intentionality to it. Intentionality? Is that a word? Humans control this landscape, so it seems fitting that humans decided to leave these woods in place. Ecologists and historians alike both believe that Wistman Wood and the other copses are remnants of an ancient rainforest that has survived here for thousands of years, here in what's known as the moors, or dartmoor. Ancient temperate rainforests grew here millennia ago, before the surrounding area was fully settled and cleared. 9 millennia, to be not exactly exact. 7,000 BCE. Hunter-gatherers only started to clear land for agriculture and animals around 5,000 BCE. This theory adds to the wood's mystique, suggesting that it has withstood the test of time, while much of the surrounding landscape has changed dramatically over the centuries, surviving not only human interference, but farm animals who graze indiscriminately. The surrounding landscape is covered in human remains. Well, the remains of human settlements. Less than 4 miles from here is an entire prehistoric settlement. Next door to that is an ancient quarry. This quarry supplied stones for structures, tombs, walls, and the prehistoric version of the church clock tower, stone circles. These things are everywhere around the moors, further separating this wood from an area that has been churned up by people and animals for ages. The origins of the name Wistmans are steeped in linguistic history. It is widely thought to derive from the Saxon word whisht, which translates to eerie, uncanny, or haunted, though at the same time it may just be a variation of wise man's woods. Either way, it hints at the connection of the Druid legends of the moors. Druids may sound mythological, but in reality they were a class of priests and leaders in Celtic cultures. They also served as sages and passed wisdom on through their respective tribes and communities. And that might be one explanation to their existence, that as the forests and the other wooded areas were cleared for human habitation and animals, small sections were retained and repurposed for traditional gatherings or rituals. As time went on, even after those cultures died off, the mythology of the place lived on, and the local population began to hold the woods in their own regard. Having been untouched long before them, it probably felt blasphemous to be the one to interrupt that. Over the centuries, the visual landscape of the trees became so split from the surrounding farmland that it took on a mythic status. It's a theory, at least. Perhaps the most striking feature of Wistman Wood is the collection of gnarled and twisted oak trees. Many of these are believed to be between 400 and 500 years old. Their contorted forms, shaped by centuries of harsh weather and challenging growing conditions, create that eerie and captivating landscape that seems plucked straight out of a fairy tale. The predominant tree species here is pedunculate oak. You can tell they're pedunculate oak because of the way that they are. If you're wondering, pedunculated means that something has a peduncle or is attached to another structure by a peduncle, obviously. Also known as the English oak, these trees have adapted to the harsh moorland conditions, developing their characteristic stunted and twisted shape. Those twisting branches going out more than up create a secondary uniqueness in that other organisms can grow on the flat surface. Known as epiphytic plants, mosses and lichen grow in the organic debris that accumulates on the branches over time. Below the gnarled canopy of the oaks are large granite boulders, many covered in a thick layer of moss, known as clatter. They create a chaotic and primordial landscape which adds to the ambiance. Beyond contributing to the wood's unique character, these rocks provide important microhabitats for a variety of plants and creatures. In fact, over 100 species of lichens grow here. Lichen is the plural of lichen or lichens? A lot of lichen grow here. They drape the oak and the boulders here, creating an ethereal, almost ghostly atmosphere that enhances the wood's otherworldly feel. Despite its harsh conditions, Wistman's Wood provides a habitat for a variety of bird species. Woodland birds such as peckers and tits can be found among the ancient oaks, adding their songs to the soundscape of the wood, which in this moment is almost uncomfortably quiet. It is eerie or serene, depending on where you fall on the spectrum of goth. A few peckers and tits would really liven the place up. Over the centuries, Wistman's Wood has become enshrouded in folklore and legends. Tales of druids performing ancient rituals, ghostly apparitions wandering among the trees, and supernatural hounds prowling the boulder fields have all become part of the wood's mythic fabric. The hellhounds of Dartmoor are said to prowl this area, hunting in ethereal packs on moonless nights, running down those poor souls lost in the moors, controlled by a horse-mounted spirit. The Sherlock Holmes story, Hound of the Baskervilles, takes place nearby. The often fog-covered moors are a fitting backdrop to tales of the unknown. One can easily be tricked into thinking you've seen or heard something, only to investigate and come up empty. Who knows what's hiding behind those twisted trees and mossy boulders? Honestly, it kind of just reminds me of The Princess Bride. I almost expect a ROUS to pop out behind a lichens-covered rock, although I don't believe they exist. While Wistman's Wood may seem idyllic, it is not without its dangers. The wood is known to be home to adders, Britain's only venomous snake. These reptiles are particularly fond of the boulder fields, where they can bask in the sun and hide among the rocks. They are normal size, though, as to be expected. Recognizing its ecological importance, Wistman's Wood has been designated as a site of special scientific interest. In fact, Prince William requested that the public body known as Natural England attempt to double it in size by 2040. More realistically, protect twice as much than what is protected now, while acorns from the oaks are planted and cared for. This status acknowledges the wood's unique ecology and ensures its protection for future generations. The designation helps to safeguard the delicate balance of species that call this ancient woodland home. Despite its relative remoteness, the woods provide a unique opportunity for scientists to study the microclimate and ecology not found anywhere else in the UK. And with a scene like this, artists, photographers, and of course Instagrammers and content creators are also drawn to use it as a mysterious backdrop. You can check out these other videos about trees and bushes. I've got plenty. Thanks to my Patreon subscribers for helping me get here. Thanks for watching till the end. Now make like a tree and get lost.